Welcome everybody to a brand new video here on the channel, and just gone ahead is the FA Cup tie between Chelsea and Morecambe Town. So we won 4-0 against Morecambe Town. And they are a side from League 2. They do have very special players. They were hit with COVID, but they did have 4 wins out of their last 3 compared to our form. Definitely better, although it is a lower league, but we won 4-0. Let's move on to the team news. So I'm going to be discussing the team news for Morecambe. We played them in the FA Cup. It was a 4-0 victory, as I mentioned. But definitely we showed what we can do, although it was a lower side. Obviously wasn't the thrashing of Barnsley, but instead Barnsley came and attacked us. Morecambe decided to just sit back and try not make it anything extreme like a 6 or 7-0, which is quite a good strategy from Morecambe. Tried to not make themselves humiliated by us, because there was always a clear winner, but there's been a few upsets on the cards, definitely, in these games. Obviously, West Brom were defeated by Blackpool 3-2, but you could have put money on that, but you still expect the Premier League side to win. So the team news, I'm going to be discussing everybody from the team that played well in today's game, and so in goal today was Kepa Arrizabalaga, who obviously frozen out the team for while Mendy, although Mendy has not been keeping clean sheets as usual, but still he's a good goalkeeper and he's saved us out of a lot of deep stew against Man City. We would have been 6 down if it wasn't for him. As he was probably the best team player on that pitch in that game, apart from Callum HudsonOdoi when he came on, but he was probably the best starter in that game. So Kepa Arrizabalaga started. On the left back, we had Emerson. The 2 centre-back pairs today were Kurt Zouma and Antonio Rudiger. The right back was Cesar Azpilicueta due to the injury of Reece James. The midfield, we went with Billy Gilmour as the DM, obviously with N'Golo Kante having a slight injury and him not being able to play the game against Fulham on Friday. We went with Kai Havertz and Mason Mount, the 2 cams for Billy Gilmour to support the defence, and he almost acted as if he was like a third centre-back, but he wasn't. He was the DM in that midfield. The front 3 were Timo Werner. Down the middle, we had Callum HudsonOdoi on the on the left, and we had Hakim Ziyech on the right to cut in on his left, and he made some great assists in today's game, Hakim Ziyech, but I'm talking away from the 11. So even though we added some youngsters into the 11, it was still a pretty strong 11, and I don't think right now you cannot get a strong 11 with Chelsea. So it was a strong 11 nonetheless, and once you saw the team sheets that roll out, you kind of depicted that Chelsea were going to win. But Morecambe did have a pretty strong team, and it did cause us a few scares, although only having I think it was 4 shots on goal. They did cause Kepa a few scares, and we'll talk about that later on in the game. Well, let's start off with this then, shall we? Mason Mount, clinical as you like. When I was watching the game on the other player, I was just like, how has he hit that? And literally as well, when he hit that, I just had a twinge that was going in. I'd seen the strikes that he's put in the FA Cup before against Man United. Maybe that one shouldn't have gone in. Yes, De Gea absolutely had a mare in that game, but I just had the thing. I just knew that it was going to go in. He's a debate among the Chelsea fans. He's either good or bad among the Chelsea fans. But for me, I think Mason Mount, and I'm not just saying this because we literally won this game and he was on the score sheet. I think he's really underrated under the Chelsea fans. He has so much slack every time. He gets so much backlash every time we lose because Frank keeps on playing him. But that's because and you could say the same thing about Gareth Southgate. But because it's the England squad, Mason Mount doesn't fully pick up all the things, but he's actually a really good player. And because Frank keeps on playing him, and it's almost as if it looks like favouritism, it's not, because he trains hard, he plays well, although sometimes he gives the ball away, but that's because he's only 22. And the birthday boy as well, it was a great finish. Good assist from Callum HudsonOdoi, though it really wasn't a brilliant pass. It was just a pass 1-2 to Mason Mount, and they just took it on 25 yards out. Either way, it was a great goal, and an assist for Callum HudsonOdoi with that goal. And just Mason Mount for me is a really underrated player, and I think Chelsea fans need to take that more into consideration about Mason Mount. So the next goal came in the form of the German. We paid £55 million for Timo Werner. And Timo Werner has not scored in 11 matches since this one. And the only thing I can say about this is I just hope he continues this form. It's against Morecambe, and we have to take that in consideration. We cannot just say Werner's going to score a hat-trick in the next game against Fulham, which is a possibility, but come on, be realistic. It's not going to happen. But still, this is great for Werner. This is really, really good. This is why we bought the two Germans, Kai Havertz and Timo Werner. We bought Werner because of his pace and his utility, and that's what he showed it. He was not too near inside the box when the ball was played to Havertz. He raced in there and got the goal from Havertz, and that's what we needed. And Havertz for that creativity and that finishing and that composure in the final third. And we'll move on to him in a bit. He scored the fourth goal for us. But really, though, that's exactly what Timo needed. He just needed the confidence to just boost her almost. Because then Giroud didn't score, but he did play well, Giroud, and that's what Werner needed. He needed the star against Fulham because he's played in his natural position and he gets you a goal. But the thing when he plays in his natural position, he's more likely to make more mistakes. But we didn't see as many mistakes as we have seen, or errors, as we have seen in the Premier League in today's game. I've probably saw about 3 in that game, which is still, you really need to cut those out. But that's because he's adjusting into the Premier League. But now you cannot really make that excuse anymore because Havertz today made 0 mistakes I saw and played brilliantly. But Timo Werner, he's just on a lapse of confidence, and Havertz hasn't really been in that run of the streak of us losing. So maybe you could use that why. But Timo Werner, great for him today as he got the goal. The German combination linking up again. Just a good day for Werner, good confidence booster for the squad today. And Werner is definitely a shower of that. Now, to one of the people that really did deserve a start from his recent performances against Manchester City, Arsenal and Aston Villa. And that one of those people is Callum HudsonOdoi. He scored our only goal against Manchester City, although it was laid on a plate for him by Kai Havertz. He deserved that today. He really did deserve that. He made lots of errors. I did see that. Lots of mistakes. But still, he added that quality. He added sort of just that just almost refreshment in the team. And that's what he needed. And that's what Mikel Arteta's done well at Arsenal for. He's added Emile Smith-Rowe into the team. And he's just added some sort of refreshment into the 11. And that's what Callum HudsonOdoi done. And that's how Frank Lampard overachieved last season. Because he brought in youngsters that refreshed the whole team. Instead of just keeping it to the old and just to keep it to an ageing squad, he's actually added something refreshing into the 11. And Callum today brought that fully into fruition. And it was just a great performance from Callum HudsonOdoi today. He just really showed what Bayern were asking £40 million for him. And £40 million buy-on clause after we had loaned them to them. But we didn't, and we kept hold of him, and that's really why we did keep hold of him. That's the performances we want to see from Callum HudsonOdoi today. Making mistakes is fine. You're only 20 years old, and that's something you can adapt to. And if you can play like that, if Frank has faith in him, which I think he should, he's got a massive headache, Frank, now on his hands, because all of these youngsters are performing well. Havertz, Werner got a goal, HudsonOdoi got a goal, and Mason got a goal. But Mason Mount usually always starts. So it's a massive headache for Frank Lampard. Do you continue playing Pulisic? I definitely thought Pulisic should have scored a few times in this game. But it's a real headache for Frank. But great goal from Callum HudsonOdoi. Brilliant pass from Hakim Ziyech. Probably talk about Hakim Ziyech later on in the game. Probably the best pass of that game. 5 key passes in 60 minutes. I think it was brilliant from Hakim Ziyech. But yeah, that's the third goal coming from Callum HudsonOdoi. Now here, this is literally it. This person that I'm about to talk about wasn't man of the match, but was definitely second to man of the match. Kai Havertz totally deserved to start today, and Frank Lampard repaid the faith. And today is what we saw Kai Havertz before COVID-19, before he caught the virus. This Havertz was £72 million Kai Havertz. This Havertz was zero mistake Havertz, goal and assist Havertz. This was that Havertz, and he should have got another assist for Christian Pulisic, as I mentioned, on the Callum HudsonOdoi goal bit. He should have got 2 assists, and his goal was greatly taken. He did do that at an expense of himself getting slightly in pain when he went down there, but it was a really good ball into the box from Ziyech, and it's just unbelievable from Kai Havertz today. Just teeing up people, nice little passes. I think it was around 30 minutes in, he did this thing, and he had like 2 Morecambe players on him, and he just glid round them. It was just was brilliant in my opinion. And I'm not biased to Kai Havertz or anything, but this is £72 million Kai Havertz in my opinion. This Havertz today is what I want to see Havertz every week. And it's okay if he has some drop-offs, like sometimes, like he's had here. But if you can play like this every 2.5 weeks, you play like a Hazard he played today, really did. If you can do that, then it will be good, kind of. He's £72 million Kai Havertz, what I saw today. And brilliant today from Havertz. Now let's move on to our man of the match in the game. Let's see who it is. Today's man of the match was no question. Today's man of the match. Kai Havertz, as I mentioned, was up there. But just today, Hakim Ziyech, oh my goodness me. The wand of a left foot he has is just uncompatible in the Premier League. Probably Bruno Fernandes and Kevin De Bruyne have the rival. He probably has the third best left foot in the Premier League. And currently, before he got injured again in the game against Leeds, he probably was the third best playmaker in the Premier League at that time. But what we saw today was when Ajax made it through to that semi-final of Champions League, and Hakim Ziyech was at the forefront of that whole season. And he didn't get bought, which was crazy to me. That they went after Matthias de Ligt, Frankie de Jong, and for me, Hakim Ziyech is doing the best out of all of them. Like, I think they all went to the leagues that might have suited them best, might have been easier for them, so they could keep their reputation. But Hakim Ziyech today was just exquisite. The assist for Callum HudsonOdoi from Hakim Ziyech was great. It was a ball. Callum HudsonOdoi wasn't even making the run, and Hakim Ziyech just knew that he was going to be there. He just lofted it over the Morecambe defence, and there was Callum HudsonOdoi just to tuck it in. The ball into Kai Havertz was exquisite, which was the one that Havertz laid off to Timo Werner. That was exquisite. That was on his left foot. On his right foot, he cut in and played Havertz. He played Havertz with the header that he put in, and that it was just brilliant today from Hakim Ziyech. Just on another level, really, from Ziyech. It was just great, almost. It was just too easy for him today. He did make a couple of mistakes, yes, I will say that. But what he did today just completely made up for that. And that was my man of the match. And this was my Chelsea versus Morecambe preview. See you guys in the next video, probably the Minecraft SMP. See ya.